Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Distressor plugin. If you caught the LA2A video that I did, I referred to the Distressor because it is a fantastic compressor that can do many different things, and I wanted to talk about it today to kind of elaborate on those things. And I want to make sure that I do a good breakdown of pretty much everything that you see on the actual plugin. So let's kind of get into it. By the way, I recorded this like multiple different times, so I love you guys. I literally recorded this like 2 different times, as in like 1 hour each. And the audio either messed up or like something happened, like I messed up. So this is the 3rd time I've done this. Hopefully I can keep the same energy and be excited about everything. So let's get into it. Again, I always like to start off with some literature, because if somebody doesn't show you proof of what they are talking about, don't trust them, is what I always say. All right. So first things first, we are looking at the documentation on UAD's website, and we have the bypass button. All right, so the bypass button, you can see me clicking it right here. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can click the actual light or the button. Fun fact. So bypass disables the distressor circuit, but keeps the plugin loaded on UAD DSP for a glitch-free bypass. To toggle the bypass state, click the bypass button, label, or LED. Bypass is active when LED is lit. So if you aren't sure what a bypass is, it's just saying like you don't want the effects of what the plugin is doing to affect your audio signal. So if you've got the plugin on a vocal track, if you hit bypass, it won't affect what's happening with the vocal, with the audio signal, all right? But it does say that the bypass disables the distressor circuit, but keeps the plugin loaded on UAD DSP for a glitch-free bypass. So it's still loaded into the DSP, but the circuitry is... you're disabling the circuitry. All right. If you want to, it says tip to conserve processing resources, use the power switch. So it's like, hey, just turn it completely off if you want to conserve processing resources. All right. So ratio. The switch cycles through the available compression ratios. Each ratio provides a distinct compression curve and threshold offset. The table below lists the available values in description of the setting. Caution: with high amounts of gain reduction, switching ratio to 1:1 can cause extreme increases in output level, as there is no gain reduction with ratio 1:1. All right, so if you don't know what ratio is, I kind of explained that in the LA2A video, but again, I want to do a deep dive into this plugin as well. So the ratio is like a mathematical formula, and the numbers are representing what the math is doing. So you're saying for every 1 dB that a signal goes past the threshold that you requested, the compressor is going to compress that signal by that much. All right. So 1:1 means, oh, you let 1 through, well, I'm going to let 1 through. And so 2:1 is saying, you let 2 through, I'm going to let 1 through. You let 3 through, I'm going to let 1 through. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, and I wish I had like a better like visual of this, because I'm a visual learner, but it's basically saying that for every dB, so if you had a 6:1 ratio, and then there's some descriptions down here, and I'll go through those, but it's saying if you put this at 6:1 and the threshold is at whatever, the Distressor has a threshold from 0 to 10 output, and we'll talk about that later. But for every, at 6 to 1, for every 6 dB past the threshold, 1 dB will actually be left over. All right. So it's going to reduce it by the 6 to 1. It's dividing, basically. It's giving you only a certain amount left over that will be heard. So it's a 6 to 1 ratio. I hope that was the easiest way to explain that. There might be a way better way to explain that, but think of it like that. Think of it as a mathematical formula of a certain amount of dB past the threshold is being allowed to come through, and the rest of the dBs are being quieted so that they are compressed. So your threshold, and if it goes like, so if your threshold's right here and you have a 6 to 1, for every 6 dB that it goes up, it's going to reduce it by that much. So it's saying, oh, you allowed 6 dB to come up. Well, I'm going to allow 1 to come up. 6 to 1 ratio. I hope that helps. If it doesn't, I apologize. There are many people probably who have a great video explaining ratio. Ratio is probably the most complicated thing on the Distressor. So that's why I'm taking my time on that one. But anyways, there's a 1-to-1 ratio. It is saturation only, no compression, warms the signal. As I said, ratio 1-to-1 means 1 goes up, 1 comes out. Simple as that. 2-to-1, 2-to-1 and 3-to-1. Mild compression with gentle parabolic knee shape. 2-to-1 knee can be as long as 30 dB, depending on attack and release settings. 4-to-1 and 6-to-1, mid-level compression with steeper knee shape, a good starting point for many signals. 10-to-1, opto compression curve with special detection circuitry that emulates electroluminescent optical gain reduction. So again, you hear these keywords of emulating electroluminescent. Luminescent is like light. Optical gain reduction. All right, so that's referring back to that opto compressor of the LA2A. And this is what I was talking about. The 10-to-1 opto portion of the Distressor is emulating the opto electroluminescent optical gain reduction of the LA2A. That's exactly what it's doing. At a 20-to-1 in nuke, these settings are hard limiting curves with special detector circuitry, great for controlling highly dynamic signals and for blowing up room sounds. So that's why, they have blowing up as a nuke. So when you have infinity ratio, that's basically like a limiter. It's like 100-to-1. 100-to-1 is like a limiter. So if we're still compressing, we're at 20-to-1 in nuke. So it's completely changing the sound of whatever you put in, but it's still not quite limiter status, but it's up there though. Most people aren't using 20-to-1 just cause. As I said, Ryan, he has the hardware Distressor on his desk. He goes from Heritage Audio 1073 emulation to the Distressor, the hardware, both are hardware. He uses a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1. That is the ratio that Ryan usually uses, but Ryan is my business partner. He does Uproar recording, so if you need your mixes done virtually, you can hit him up. You can send him a mix, like a session, a Pro Tools session, and he can mix it for you virtually. Or if you're in the Memphis area and you would like to have somebody mix and record and master for you, Ryan can do that as well. But as as I said, he uses 3-to-1 and 4-to-1. But again, that's him at Uproar Recording. So moving on. Oh, let me click and show you the ratio. So here's 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 6-to-1, blah, 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 blah. So you can either click the LEDs or click the ratio button. And as you scroll through, it cycles back around. So that's that. All right, the detector, it's over here. You can see I'm clicking it over here. And again, you can click the LEDs. So the detector, this switch cycles through 8 modes of sidechain and signal processing. Each mode has a distinct effect on dynamics, detection, and compression behavior. 3 separate sidechain functions are available: high pass, band, emphasis, and stereo link. All right, so these are the detector modes. As you can read, I'm not going to go all the way through them as far as reading them, but you can see the high pass is the first one. Actually, you can turn this off, can't you? Okay, yeah. So normal is detector LEDs off, all right? And then you hit the detector once, and then that's your green high pass is 100 hertz cutoff. And then you have the band emphasis, which is the yellow LED. And then you do the detector again, and that does the high pass and band emphasis at the same time. All right. Hit it again. You do the link. It's a stereo linking enabled. So if you need to stereo link the Distressor for whatever reason you want to do that for, by all means, do that. And then we have a high pass and link. So if you want to do the high pass and the link at the same time, press it one more time. Then you press again, and you have the band emphasis plus the link. And then if you press it for the third time, you have all 3. All 3 modes will be enabled. Press it one last time, everything's off. Simple enough. Excuse me, I've been having like a kind of cold symptoms. So my sound kind of nasally. All right, then we also have the unique mono detector link behavior. So if you are interested in that, read up on that. So I'm not going to go into that one. I just want to go into like the functions on the Distressor. All right, so now we have the audio. So for this one, it's similar. You see the green, yellow, and red. It's got high pass, distortion 2, and distortion 3. So if you're looking for something to create a little bit more distortion, this is going to be the button for you. There are 3 separate audio functions available. You have a high pass, distortion 2, and distortion 3. The function is active when its LED is lit. The functions can be combined to access all audio modes. All right, so first off, it can be off. That's when no LEDs are on. You click it once, the high pass is active. It applies an 18 dB per octave Bessel type high pass filter with an 80 hertz cutoff to reduce rumble and clean up signals. If you press it again, then it goes to distortion 2, which is a type of harmonic that the Distressor has within it. So it adds warmth and some saturation and kind of like a overdriven tube circuit. So that is distortion 2. Distortion 3, you click it again, and then now you have the high pass and the distortion enabled at the same time. Now distortion 3 emulates like a tape-like behavior. So if you want like a tape-like distortion, then you're going to use distortion 3. Then if you click it again, you can use the high pass and distortion 3. Click it one last time, you have cycled back to it being off, basically. Now you might be wondering, how come I can't do distortion 2 and distortion 3 at the same time? Probably because it wouldn't make sense, because it's overdriven tube circuit and a tape emulator. Maybe they could have made like a third emulation. I mean, not even an emulation, like a third harmonic saturation, they would have had to make something up and call it something else, but apparently they didn't find it necessary, so it's not in the Distressor. All right, so once you start your distortion, you will have two indicators of how you're distorting. So we have the red line LED. This LED glows when total harmonic distortion reaches approximately 3%. When lit, red line also indicates output clipping. So that's what the red line light will give you. And then 1% LED. This LED glows when total harmonic distortion reaches approximately 1%. So THD is total harmonic distortion. So you see that 1% THD, it stands for total harmonic distortion. All right, we have a power button on off. You can just flip that switch. The gain reduction. Okay, so something that they didn't directly specify to me in the proper manner, but if you read this, it says the gain reduction meter displays the amount of gain attenuation occurring in the compression circuit. Greater negative dB values as the LED moves towards the left indicate more compression is occurring. So what that's saying is if you start at 1 and you have the green and then you go left, it starts getting yellow at 7 and starts getting like an orangish red. I'd say orange from 12 to 20, and then red at 23 to 26. So what that's saying is the more gain reduction you have, the more attenuation is happening, the more compression is happening. So the higher the number, the more compression that is happening. All right. Now, as I said, I kind of wish that they would have explained like that's 26 dB of gain reduction. It says greater negative dB values, so you can assume that that's what that's saying. Is saying that this is 26 dB of gain reduction, but I would not assume. If you want to be completely accurate, I would not assume that this is 26 dB of gain reduction. Could it be, and does that make sense? Absolutely, it makes sense, but I'm not exactly 100% positive that that's exactly what they're trying to say right there. But again, I'm just a guy reading. All right, so your input down here, this input knob, input simultaneously adjusts input gain and modifies compression threshold. So it's from a value of 0 to 10. The amount of threshold modification is relative to the response of each ratio setting. The nonlinear input amplifier response of the hardware is fully emulated. So it's saying that this is directly emulated to the physical hardware. The plugin is just like the hardware version. All right, you have your attack. The attack sets the amount of time that must elapse once the input signal reaches compressor threshold before compression is applied. Setting the knob to 0 produces the fastest attack time. The faster the attack time, the more rapidly compression is applied to signals above the threshold. The available range is from 50 microseconds to 30 milliseconds. However, with attack at 0, Distressor can achieve even faster times when ratio is set to 2 to 1, 3 to 1, and 4 to 1. So what that's saying is the available range is 50 microseconds to 30 milliseconds. Obviously, they want to make this as simple as possible. So 0 for the attack, to me, sounds like 50 microseconds. And then 10, even it goes past 10. Fun fact, if you put this at 10, keep going up. It goes past 10. I don't know why they did that. And I also don't know if the physical hardware does the same. I can't remember, but it goes past 10. And I would assume this is 30 milliseconds. And it says, with attack at 0, Distressor can achieve even faster times when ratio is set to 2 to 1, 3 to 1, and 4 to 1. So if you set this to 2 to 1, it's faster. Is it saying it's faster than 50 microseconds? I'm not sure because it doesn't specify that. I don't know if it's saying if you put it at 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, that's how you reach the 50 microseconds, or if it's saying it goes even faster. It says Distressor can achieve even faster times when ratio is set to 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. So maybe that's what it's saying. It's faster than 50 microseconds if you're at 2 to 1 through 4 to 1. So, fun fact. Also, we have the release. The release sets the time it takes for processing to cease once the input signal drops below the threshold level. Setting the knob to 0 produces the fastest release time. So if you set this to 0, that's the fastest release. If you set it to 10, it's the slowest release. Available range is from 0.05 seconds to 3.5 seconds. So that's your release time. 0 is 0.5 seconds, and 10 or past 10 is 3.5 seconds. Note, in 10 to 1 opto mode, release can extend up to 20 seconds due to program-dependent behaviors. So if you set the ratio to 10 to 1, now you have enabled the ability to use opto mode. And opto mode is like the LA2A compressor. So if you want opto, it even tells you put the attack at 10 and put the release at 0. It tells you down here at the bottom. And then you have to put the ratio at 10 to 1, by the way. All right, and your output is the output level. It's the non-linear output amplifier response of the hardware being fully emulated. So output is whatever output you want it to be. All right, now we have headroom. The headroom control is a UAD only feature that is not available in the original hardware. Headroom enables adjustment of the internal operating reference level for the plugin so that the plugin is not pushed into processing as much. Headroom enables best practice operating level matching, or it can be used creatively to expand the sonic range of the processor. By fine-tuning headroom, the nonlinear I/O distortion and compression response characteristics can be tailored independently of signal input levels. Increasing headroom by rotating the control counterclockwise allows signals the input to be pushed higher before they are processed. Headroom can be set in dB to 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, or 28. The default value is 16. All right, so what that's saying is you are allowing more room for distortion or compression for it to be more fine-tuned. So you want to be able to have more headroom to be able to get the sound that you want out of the distressor. And the increments are, you can see like when I move it, it's not smooth. It's like notches that it's going to. They're predefined notches. And it says the lowest is 4. So if I go all the way to the bottom, it's 4. And it's going up in increments of 4. So that the 12 o'clock position is 16 dB. These are all dB increments. And then all the way to the right is 28 dB. So there's your headroom if you are interested in adjusting headroom. All right, there's some other stuff in here. I did want to note that they suggest that you start with 6 to 1 and then you put all the knobs at 5. So if you're interested in like, hey, I want to use the distressor, but have no clue what to do, put everything at 5 and put the ratio at 6 to 1. That is their suggestion. They even have suggestions for vocals, bass, electronic guitar, acoustic guitar, piano, drums, snares, kicks, toms, room mics, all kinds of stuff. All right, so let's get into it. I've got a session pulled up. So I did a remix to Lil Demon by Future, and that's the vocal that I'm gonna let y'all listen to. But yeah, these settings are, they're all over the place right now. So let me just do the settings that they suggest. So I'm going to go 5s all around. And we'll just hear how it sounds.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with.
I apologize because I need to add this same plugin to my other vocal. Sorry. Remove. Duplicate. There we go. All right, here we go.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons lurking, you know them birds are chirping, you just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question, do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect, you would think she worth a Birkin. She got you really nervous, you trying to be for certain. You better make decisions, if you don't she'll close the curtains. Demons in my mind, demons in my head.
All right, so that's with the music, obviously, but I'm gonna mute the instrumental so you can just hear the vocal. All right, so pay attention. I could pull up both plugins, but I think I just want to have the one plugin pulled up. Can I make it? Yeah. Can we do one more? Yeah. Okay, so when you see the plugin being triggered, it's the top one. As I said, I have the same plugin on 2 different vocal tracks, but we're only going to pay attention to the top vocal track because that's what this plugin is going to. So again, I had no idea how to compress this because I was just messing with it while I was talking to y'all. This is all live. And I just set it to the settings that UAD or Distressor suggest, which was 6:1 ratio and all 5s across the board for the numerical values. And it sounded pretty good. Like it sounded just fine. And so that was with the music. Now I'm going to take the instrumental out of it so we can hear what it's doing. And then we're going to play with like some of the other, like the detector or the audio and look at the ratios and listen to the red line and the 1% total harmonic distortion. So you can kind of get a feel of what that sounds like.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced.
And by the way, I did say that this plugin that you're looking at is connected to just my top vocal. Again, there's 2 different vocals. There's a top and a bottom. But the top vocal, the bottom vocal is still with these exact same settings. So both have the exact same settings right now. I'm just letting you know that the top vocal is the one that we are watching live with the gain reduction.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons lurking, you know them birds are chirping, you just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question, do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect, you would think she worth a Birkin. She got you really nervous, you trying to be for certain.
All right, and then let's do something different. So let's do 1:1. We're going to go through the different ratios and hear how it changes. So sounds pretty good at the 6:1 and everything 5. Let's listen to 1:1 and hear how it sounds.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons lurking, you know them birds are chirping, you just never know the purpose.
All right, now we're going to go 2 to 1.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these.
And again, if you're, you got lost earlier and forgot what a ratio is, if you notice at the 1 to 1,
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose.
we see no gain reduction. And why is that? It's because it's just running through the distressor. There's no actual gain reduction because it's not reducing it by any mathematical formula. It's saying, all right, for every 1 that goes by, I'm going to let 1 go through. No gain reduction whatsoever. All right, now the 2 to 1, we have some gain reduction.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question. Do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect. You would think she worth a Birkin. She
All right, now 3 to 1.
know that you can holler if you wanna. You cannot convince. I learned that that's the.
I think at the 3 to 1, we're really starting to hear not so much the distortion, because we don't even have that on, which you can still get distortion from gain reduction without the built-in distortion. But like, I'm really hearing some of that top end come into play, come into life. That top end is really coming out and showing out at this 3 to 1. So let's hear this 4 to 1.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking.
And honestly, that's another thing that I think people really need to understand is like, when you are mixing, don't always mix with the instrumental. Like, mix just the vocal, like mix a cappella. And mix without, reverb and delay and stuff on. I currently have everything muted right now as far as like reverb and delay. I didn't have much on there. But I have muted it so that you can hear what's happening. You can hear how the compressor is compressing. All right, we're going to go, we heard 6 to 1 already. Let's hear the opto.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know.
Now again, this isn't true opto because I haven't changed the attack and release. So let's change the attack and release while we're here. Let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to change the release to 0 and we're going to change the attack to 10. I'll put it exactly at 10, but yeah, close enough. All right, let's hear this.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question. Do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect. You would think she worth a Birkin. She got you really nervous.
And again, if you cannot hear the difference in these, I would highly, highly suggest that you practice a little more with your gain reduction, with your compressors, because there is a massive difference in each ratio that I've used, especially with the change in the attack and release with the opto. So if you can't hear it, I'm not saying that you're just a bad audio engineer or audio mixer. You just need to have a little more practice because there's a big difference. And also, like, your tools might not be there. Like, you might not have the right headphones, or you might not have the right monitors, the right speakers. So definitely practice listening to different sounds because there's a massive difference in these. All right, so we're going to put this back at 5s. And we're going to listen to the 20 to 1. This probably is going to hit like 12 dB of gain reduction.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question. Do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect. You would think she worth a Birkin. She got...
I think I saw it hit 10 and 9, but it didn't quite hit 12, I don't think.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface.
Yeah, not quite. All right, let's hear Nuke.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself...
All right, we definitely hit 12 with that.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's...
Yeah, at that Vince, it hit 12. But again, Nuke, it didn't specify what the actual ratio is. It's just saying like, hey, you're blowing this thing up. We're blowing up these sounds. So for what it's worth, that's what it has. All right, so let's just stay on Nuke. And we're going to go to Distortion. And we're going to go to Distortion 2. Let's hear what we got.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds...
Might have to give it a little more input. Let's do input.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question. Do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect. You would think she worth a Birkin. She got you really nervous. You trying to be for certain. You better make this...
Sorry, I was really trying to like hit that red line. But we saw the 1% THD.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chicks.
If that's super loud, please just turn this down. But it's loud to me. Like I'm not acting like this isn't loud. This is super loud. But yeah, so I really wanted you to be able to hear what that 1% total harmonic distortion sounded like. And that was with the 2 and the 3. So here's the high pass, by the way.
Oh, that you can holler if you want.
Sorry, I'll get away from the Nuke. Let's go 4-1.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned.
Sorry, the input was up. I was like, why is it still so loud?
Oh, that you can holler if you...
By the way, the drastic level of sound from 5 to what was that, like 6.5?
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince.
Like we just hit 14 dB of gain reduction. And then if I go back to 5, so we have 1.5 is the difference of input. So 1.5, whatever that means, right?
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this. Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking.
So I feel like that's a massive difference in input level. So be cautious and go slow with how far you're pushing your input and outputs. All right, so we've done all the ratios. We've done the audio. That was with the high pass. Let's go detector.
Oh, that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question. Do you think it's really worth it? This demon plotting perfect. You would think...
All right, something kind of cool, I think, is like, so if you are at this stage and you're like, oh, shoot, I got to click all the way back. So if you are here, just click the high pass and you've got the high pass. Or if you are here and you're at that stage, you could just click high pass, or you just click that one. So instead of cycling through all of them just to get back to high pass or whatever you're at, you can just click it. I think that's a cool feature. All right, so we listened to the red line. We listened to 1% total harmonic distortion, all the audio and all the detector. Let's check out headroom. So I'm going to turn that all the way down. Haven't changed any of the other settings. Let's hear what it sounds like.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are.
All right, so as you can hear, I turned the headroom all the way down, and it's no gain reduction whatsoever. So let's go back to the 16 dB so you can hear it.
Know that you can holler if
hear and see how there is gain reduction.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface.
I'm going to hit play again, and I'm just going to turn the gain reduction all the way down while it's playing.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens, gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question. Do you think...
You hear the difference? I'm back at the 16 dB. So let's go up all the way.
Know that you can holler if you wanna, you cannot convince. I learned that that's the problem with these chickens. Gotta keep them fenced. Let's keep it on the surface. You know them demons are lurking. You know them birds are chirping. You just never know the purpose. Now ask yourself this question.
You hear how quiet that is? Where'd all the headroom go? And that's it, man. Like that's headroom for you. Well, honestly, that's really a wrap for the whole plugin. I'm just going to click this default right here just to show you all the user presets they have, which is a ton. I never use any of these presets, not because I think they're bad, but because I just rather dial it in myself. But they have a ton of presets over here, man. Use them. Like, figure them out. See what they do. Like, mess them up. Have some fun. Because that's what music is really all about. It's just like being a scientist and experimenting. Like, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what sounds good, what doesn't sound good. But that's it for today, man. If you like this video, then like this video. Literally. Like, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you can. If you can't, I'm sorry. You know, whatever illness you're dealing with and you're unable to subscribe, you know, we'll send the priest for you. But if you dislike this video, by all means, hit the dislike button twice. Because if you hit it twice, it does like a double dislike to make sure that, like, you get me. Like, you know, you point your finger at me twice and you give me the thumbs down double, right? So do that and send this to a friend or somebody you hate. Even if it's somebody you hate, send it to them too. Show them, like, hey, this is how the Distressor works. If there's any questions that you have, you know, you can put a comment down below. If you have any concerns or some comments that you think are useful, by all means, comment down below. But I think I have my email in this as well in the description. So if you want to send me something, you're more than welcome to send me your music and I can listen to it if that's what you want to do. Like, I don't know. I'm just offering it because some of you might have some cool music out there that I've never heard. So by all means, I might even review it. Screw it. I know my homeboy 416DD, DeAndre, we were talking about doing like some music reviews. So we might do that. We might do music reviews and get people to start sending in their music. But yeah, if you have any other plugins you want me to also talk about, by all means, let me know. You know, I might deep dive into mainly UAD plugins. I also plan on doing like some Fab Filter and stuff like that. But like, I know so many people have the UAD plugins, and so this is a big hit for them. but everybody's got, not everybody, a lot of people have Fab Filter. Fab Filter is top notch. I plan on doing some of that. I've got like all the Sound Toys plugins. I've got some Native Instrument stuff. I've got a lot of stuff. So I will be getting to all of that in the future. As you all know, this is like only the second plug-in video I've done. So we will be getting into all that in the future. But that's a wrap for today. Again, give this a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace.